In this video, we're going to cover how to add and adjust for pilot holes to secure the tops and the bottoms into the sides. So we're going to jump over into Cabinet Parts Pro and take a look under Tools, then Settings. Once the settings open, go ahead and select what cabinet type you want to add the pilot holes to. Checking the option for the features to machine, we're going to set the pilot holes, tops and bottoms, to be checked. Then we're going to jump over to the pilot holes, tops and bottoms, clicking this button. The settings for the pilot holes are going to open, and we're able to make adjustments here. So to start off with, we have our layer name. This is what is used on the nesting and for the toolpathing to be able to select the objects and set a toolpath operation to. The diameter is the diameter of the hole. We're going to reduce that down to 1/8 of an inch. The inset, this is the distance from the front edge to the first hole placed on the side. Then we have the spacing of 8 inches. By default, that is the distance between the first hole to the second hole, and 8 inches again from the second to the third. And if there was a fourth or room enough for a fourth, that would be also 8 inches. Then we have the total depth. The total depth really for pilot holes should be set to the same thickness as the material thickness. To ensure that it goes all the way through, we're able to set the add to depth on the nesting within the toolpath operations. But to ensure that they do go all the way through, we do have to have that depth set to the same thickness as the material. The other options that we have down below are unlikely to be used by most. This would add in a hole on the edge for a dowel insert for the placement on the tops and the bottoms. And again, that would be for a secondary operation on a secondary machine that might have the capabilities of using CNC to place and to drill holes on the edge of the board. Once those changes have made, I'm going to go ahead and hit Save. That will update our drawing on the left side to show the new placement of the holes that are now 1/8 of an inch in diameter rather than the 3/8 that were set by default earlier. We are now going to take a look at how to lay out a pattern for dowel placement. So there is a script in place for this, so we're going to set the option for use script. We're going to leave the also use default unchecked. So we do not want to use the default settings or the default placements here. We're only going to use the script alone. Going to the options down here for scripts, we're going to select Dowel. Once that is set, we're going to click Save. This is going to give us one dowel hole at the beginning, and then it is set to be a division of 32 inches. In this case, the behind the scenes in the script is 96 millimeters from the placement of the first hole to the placement of the second hole. Then we're going to place 2 holes that are 62 millimeters apart, then go another 96 millimeters from there. And if we had enough depth, we would have gotten another hole. And we could see this by going and changing the depth on the main screen and hitting Save again. The model now is going to use the depth of 24 to calculate the placements here. And now we could see that we have more holes that are placed 64 inches or 64 millimeters apart from hole to hole. Then between each set, we have 96 millimeters. And it continues that pattern across the width of the sheet. That is very useful for machines that have a manual placement of edge boring for those parts to where we could set a universal drilling pattern for the tops and bottoms to allow the dowel to fit within this pattern here. Hopefully that helps clear up and understand pilot holes and how to create dowels.